Hey there, my name is Dan, product specialist at Aplos, and so glad that you took a few minutes to check out our video. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the pros and cons of doing special events. Everybody has an opinion about whether you should or shouldn't do a special event or a big fundraiser, and I just want to kind of dive in and tell you a little bit about what I see as some of the benefits and maybe sometimes some of the cons. So let's check out some ideas. All right, so we're going to spend a few minutes and we're going to talk about events, special events, fundraising events, and what are the pros and cons of doing events. Some fundraising experts out there will say, hey, events are great, everybody should do one. Others might say they're really not worth the time and effort, for whatever reason. So I want to kind of dive in and let's look at some of the advantages and disadvantages of doing those big special events. And this could be as simple as a bowl-a-thon, or it could be as grand scale or large as a marathon, or you even know something like the Ice Bucket Challenge or something like that. So I want to look at some of the upsides. I've spent a lot of time in the fundraising world doing events, and so I understand there are some positive aspects to it. First of all, when they're successful, they can really bring much needed money and support to your nonprofit. Some organizations and ministries, that 1 or 2 time a year special event could make or break their budget. So that really is an upside. Some events do really, really well, and you might read about those in your local news areas, articles on blogs, Facebook, all of that. So when successful, they can actually be really helpful. Events can be really great for building awareness to your mission or organization. Just by getting people to an event that can walk away and say, gosh, I had no idea that we have this in our community or right here in our backyard. So if you're doing them well, they can really bring more awareness to people that are coming. They might have come just because they thought they were going to get a great meal and a glass of wine, and they left going, gosh, I learned a whole bunch more about this organization. They're a great way to reach out and engage a new group of people, or maybe a different demographic. Maybe you're trying to engage more younger people. Maybe you're doing an event that gets more kids involved, or an older demographic, or whatever. So it is a great way to reach out and engage new people that maybe you haven't been able to tap into before. Events are also a great way to gain corporate support and sponsorships. Because of the visibility that events can have, a lot of corporate foundations and local businesses, they want their name up there, so they like that. So there's a great way to get a sponsorship that sponsorships can go 5, 10, 15, sometimes $50,000 to sponsor, to be the premier sponsor of that event. So that's a real positive as well. And events can also bring the community together, people together, and to support a common cause and a positive feeling. Maybe everybody's all out standing on a corner raising money for a particular organization. You're bringing people together to be excited about that one cause. So that's a real positive side. However, there are some kind of negative sides to events, or some things that you want to think about. More cons than they are negative. And so you want to be thinking about those. First of all, special events can be very costly. Some cost as much as 50 cents on the dollar to put on an event by the time you pay, the supplies and the food and the staff time and all of that. So they can be expensive, and it's something that you want to consider in how much it costs to run those events. Events can also be a real burnout to your volunteers and staff. So you want to kind of think about, are those events so taxing that people maybe aren't coming back, or they're leaving because they're burned out or something like that. They can be risky, they can be unpredictable, and not always make money at that first time. So sometimes events take a couple times to sort of take, or maybe like a golf tournament, it takes a couple years to build that participation group. Or maybe you had an unusual circumstance like bad weather or rain or something like that. So that's just kind of something to be thinking about. Staff time to plan can always take away from other priorities. So if everybody's all focused on the event for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and that's all they're focused on, maybe some of those other priorities fall off a little bit. So you want to be thinking about that. And then lastly, the board expectations can sometimes be unrealistic and challenging for the staff and leadership, meaning the board comes and it says, hey, we read about this other organization and they did this big event, so why aren't we doing that? Or they might say we need to do a feature special event. So all of that will kind of come into play. So to kind of bring it all together, I'm going to say don't not do an event, but make sure that you kind of think about the positives and the negatives before you sort of commit to getting that event out there. Well, I hope this was helpful as you think about your own special events and whether or not you should be putting time and effort in doing those and hopefully raising more money for your organization. Thanks again for checking us out, and for more tips and tools, go to the Applos Academy and we'll have some more information there.